All the powerful promises of Yahweh are contingent upon one thing that can only be demonstrated on our part. Hi, this is Barry Phelps with 10-Minute Torah, day number 2 of the Torah portion Vieira. Let's go back now to Shemot, Exodus chapter number 6, and pick up where we left off yesterday. And say in verse number 6, it says, "Say therefore to the children of Israel, I am Yahweh, and I shall bring you out from under the burdens of the Mitzrites, and shall deliver you from their enslaving, and shall redeem you with an outstretched arm and with great judgments, and shall take you as my people, and I shall be your Elohim. And you shall know that I am Yahweh your Elohim, who is bringing you out from under the burdens of the Mitzrites. And I shall bring you into the land which I swore to give to Abraham, to Yitzhak, and to Yaakov, to give to you as an inheritance. I am Yahweh." And Moshe spoke thus to the children of Israel, but they did not listen, it says, to Moshe, because of shortness of spirit and from hard slavery. Yah makes some great promises here. These are the 4 promises that we rehearse at Pesach. It's important for us to remember them. They're promises that he offers to us. He says, number 1, I will bring you out from under the burdens of the Mitzrites. And again, let's remember that Mitzrayim is not just a physical, geographical, geopolitical location. It is a spiritual system. It is the system of this present world and age that seeks to enslave us with the cares of life, with demanded adherence to social norms that may not be scripturally normal, and to accept the philosophies and the imaginations of man to be all sufficient to all of our need. That is Mitzrayim. It is a word that means to be confined, constricted, maybe even compressed. And so Yah says, I'm going to bring you out of that. What that means then is that we enter into a different philosophy of life, a different cultural understanding of what it is to live. We're not living just to eke an existence out of the ground and have bread, but we're dependent upon the hand of our Creator to take care of us as we are faithful to Him. Secondly, he says that I will deliver you from their enslaving. The Mitzrite system enslaves you. It's something that once it gets you in its iron jaws, it refuses to let you go. It's hard to break out of the philosophies, the mindsets of Mitzrayim. And then thirdly, he says, I will redeem you with an outstretched arm. Yah is the Redeemer. And he's not only the spiritual Redeemer, where he redeems us of our sinful past and delivers us into a more hopeful, promising future, but he redeems the brokenness that accompanies our past. So while my sins are forgiven, sometimes the habits, the mindsets, the results, the accompanying baggage of my past, I need to be redeemed from that as well. Break these chains, Father. And finally, it says that he will take us unto himself as his people. When you become a part of the people of Elohim, everything changes. We are part now of a covenant. We're not trying to appease him so that he doesn't kill us or snuff us out, but rather Yah is the one who is the covenant giver. He seeks to bring us into his loving, nurturing care, and he seeks to provide for us the promise that he gave to the patriarchs. He includes us with those who inherit. Thank you, Father. However, Moshe comes to the people and he says to them, this is the grand plan. This is all that Yah wants to do for us. It's good stuff. And the people couldn't hear. It was as much as though they had fingers in their ears and they refused to hear. Now, the Hebrew here says, Velo Shamu El Moshe. Velo, lo meaning no, shamu, that's the word in question. What does it mean? Velo and not shamu el Moshe. They didn't shamu him. What is that? The word shamu here can mean to hear, comprehend. It can mean believe, or it can mean obey. Now, which one of those four translations applies? Well, there was nothing that he said that they couldn't listen to, and there was nothing that was beyond comprehension here. If one thought about it, they could understand what he was saying. It either means that they didn't believe him or they didn't obey. So the idea of not believing is the popular understanding. But normally believing would have been translated differently. It would have been velo ha'emu or iminu. It doesn't mean, it means more about the idea of belief. Shamu, what does it mean? If we go over to the book of Ezekiel, in chapter number 20, verses 1 through 12, we see that there's a problem. The elders of Israel are seeking Yah's face, and Yah is saying to Ezekiel, you go tell those guys, I'm not willing to listen to them. I'm not going to pay attention to their prayers. There is a previous issue, and it's a problem for me. He says in verse number 7, or let's go back to verse 6, on that day I lifted my hand in an oath to them to bring them out of the land of Mitzrayim into a land that I had searched out for them, flowing with milk and honey, the splendor of all lands. And I said to them, each one of you throw away the abominations which are before his eyes, and do not defile yourselves with the idols of Mitzrayim. I am Yahweh your Elohim. But they rebelled against me and would not shamu, or shamoah. Below Avu Lishamoah Ale. They did not want to listen to me. Listen to me as in they did not obey me. All of them, it says in verse 8, did not throw away the abominations which were before their eyes, nor did they forsake the idols of Mitzrayim. So I resolved to pour out my wrath on them to complete my displeasure against them in the midst of the land of Mitzrayim. But I acted for my name's sake, that it should not be profaned before the eyes of the nations among whom they were. Ezekiel fills in a gap here for us. It helps us to understand that the reason that these people could not hear what Moshe was saying is because they lacked the Spirit. Their spirit was broken to a place that they could not get away from the dependence upon idols that they had become familiar with. They could not see how the Yah of the heavens, who is the covenant giver that talked to the patriarchs, was in any way concerned about them, and they were clinging to the abominable idols of the land of Mitzrayim and placing more hope and more trust in them than in the one who was coming with sending Moshe to deliver them. They were hard-pressed in their spirit. Slavery, they felt that they were condemned to slavery and that this was their rightful place in society and in life. And we can look down on these folks and say they should have known better, shouldn't we? The one thing that must be used on our part, demonstrated from ourselves in order for all of the promises of Yah to come to pass, is the act of obedience. What is Yah requiring of us? Get rid of your idols. Get rid of the things of your own mind and your own heart, your own understanding that you are dependent upon in the place of Yah. Wherever you replace Yahweh and His sufficiency with something else that you're dependent upon, that thing is an idol. Let's get ruthless today And we'll see you again tomorrow. Until then, shalom.